Per my usual Friday videos, I'm going to look back at an old build. With EX6, this set offers nothing to the existing Metalgarurumon support, mainly because every blue card is actually geared more towards aquatic support, and everything else purple is pretty much 7 Demon Lord or Mastamon. Overall, this deck profile will be a quick shotgun of information, as there's always going to be numerous text to incorporate. It just depends on what your local meta is doing. With level 2s, it's going to be BT15 tsunomon and BT14 Bukamon. With the fact that this deck is heavily OTK, this is where you can promote out your ideal stack before going for game. As a result, this is why you'd run the 3 tsunomon 1 Bukamon configuration to increase your chances of potentially opening Bukamon for the jamming factor and leaving battle protection on your opponent's turn. Gabumon wise, I run 3 BT5 variants for the fact that this card becomes a play cost of 2 with your Mat Ishidas in play, because they can add 1 Garurumon and 1 Omnimon Digimon, which makes them very valuable. With DP buffs, you can utilize 2 of the starter deck ones, but you could easily opt out of both of these and just use 4 BT5 and 4 x-antibody variants from BT9. Regardless, the wide search and draw is extremely valuable. And of course, 1 copy of Gabumon X from EX5 due to it being too powerful and filtering through not just 3 cards, but 4. If you do add at least 1 card, you will have to trash 1 from your hand. Your Gabumon lineup is finished with the BT15 variant for the blocker at start of main and the draw 1 if you have Mat Ishida in play. Garurumons, the line is very basic, but gets the job done. 1 Garurumon X from EX5 due to its limited status but filters through 2 more cards before setting up your trash. 2 from BT9 just for an extra battle protection inheritable. 3 from BT15 for the draw 1 if you have Mat in play, but if you don't have Mat in play, you get to play 1 with the cost reduced by 3. And the promo Garurumon that is not once per turn when it comes to attacking and drawing a card. This one is the most beastly one that can at times give you a really fat stack of a hand. No substitutions here, though you could utilize the starter deck Garurumon, who has a security effect. My only downside to this card is that they're purple, meaning they mess with your training options and also your smooth Digivolutions up the chain. The variant of this build, though, keeps everything blue. Weregarurumons, you have a few ways to build this. On one hand, I went with the BT9 Garurumon X mainly because you have ways to bounce level 4 Digimon, whether it be Armor or even Numamon. EX1 draws you a card when digivolving, effectively making it a 2 cost when you have a single mat in play. When attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in hand, that's another memory. But the Sagittarius mode helps for more battle protection, and the promo for more attacks and unsuspends. Why I didn't run the EX5 weregarurumon is ultimately because I want bounce effects as well over the unsuspend with my level 6s, because they have that covered in their own way. With level 6s, Metalgarurumon X comes in at 2 copies, while the BT15 variant adds 2 attacks, stunning capabilities, and even has evade. Considering it could even have blocker, it could become a double blocker with battle protection. But the EX1 is the one I find most worthwhile for the fact that you can bottom deck a Digimon with an on-deletion effect, if you have a Tamer in play and you have 8 or more cards. Numamon X's inheritable while powerful can actually be detrimental in the face of this Digimon, potentially losing the whole stack. But remember, this deck is definitely more OTK promote stack out heavy than what currently exists in the meta. In regards to level 7s, 1 Blitz Omnimon and 1 Omnimon X are all you need, mirroring the likes of my weregarurumon build. With Blitz Omnimon, you can go for the finishing blow, or with your x-antibody, climb up simultaneously into Omnimon X to trash the last security card before game. This deck has a very easy time going for chip damage, and even in playtesting with the battle protection, sometimes I am 100% willing to block my opponent's Magnamon X to not give them the protection. Tsunomon's plus 1000 DP definitely helped here too. But winding down to option cards, this deck runs 4 copies of Mental Trainings for the reduced Digivolution cost and also the Search, 1 high-speed plugin to prevent blocking, and 2 x-antibodies. While you could run protoforms, this is one example of the deck where, when you promote up, you're going all in. For substitutions, you could run 1 copy of a Delicate Plan, but you'll need to bring into the build 1 to 2 copies of Mat and Sora for that red source. If you are thinking that DP does matter more though, honestly, Hero Amanakawa could be used here as well, but go hard or go home, I say. Finally, the Tamers are simply Matt Ishida from BT15. This card does an amazing job finding any of your Gabumon or Garurumon pieces, and while you could utilize Cool Boys, you can't deny that the setup conditions to gain a memory off Matt aren't bad either. One attack, or even X-Evoing into your Gabumon X's, can trigger it. There's not a whole lot to say about the deck other than the techs that are more useful in the current meta. Bouncing Bodies is definitely great comparatively to deleting them with colors like red or black. The only thing to look out for is of course going to be the Blast Digivolution in Numamon decks. But if they have that Numamon X inheritable, it could be the difference between you toppling them with EX1 Metalgarurumon's effect if your conditions are met. What are your thoughts on Melga, and do you think this deck has a shot in the upcoming EX6 format? With a lot of talk with Yellow Vaccine and Angels, ultimately this deck might be shelved as well for the time being, at least until we get some new support for the Adventure Kids. But regardless, Metalgarurumon will always be a fan favorite. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.